it's very interesting that you push the situation of Teboho, because it's also very coincident that in the last minute of a match he gets a yellow card when we're going to play Pirates after, but I believe in coincidence. I just hope that the ones that we're going to feature or put to play are on the height of him. I think that it's clear for everybody that Teboho had a very difficult moment on his personal life due to the situation that he had to deal with. No one would like to keep his name, despite he had no responsibility, but associated with a situation that could touch the country for history, and until his last day of life he'll be associated with something negative. I think that after the qualification of Bafana Bafana for the World Cup, it's clear that Teboho is another man. And we feel so happy because of that. So I think it's even a human question that was on the table, and it was clear for everybody that Teboho was not in the best place. And but now we feel him happy, we feel him communicating, we feel him smiling. And I believe that the best Teboho Mokoena will come in the next matches again to help us, because he's a leader also for us. He's an important player, someone we like as too much as a boy, as he's a father of a family also, so he was for sure a not happy man in the last months.
Miguel Cardoso. You know, whenever Miguel Cardoso speaks before a big game, you should follow him very closely. At times, it's as if he's making, an excuse, almost like a pillow to say that if I lose this game, understand, because I had said it before the game. Well, that was him briefly sharing on his disappointment of not having a Teboho Mokoena in this big game against Orlando Pirates. Yes, I do go by the name of Oscar Football, where I engage and discuss on anything to do with football, from Africa to the world, and from the world to Africa. Where do I even start with this one? This here is the El Clasico of South African football. No one can argue that the Soweto Derby is the biggest fixture in South Africa. But when it comes to beautiful football, tactics, competition, I eat you, you eat me, we are talking about Orlando Pirates and MAMELODI Sundowns. And I don't think the upcoming fixture will be disappointing. Now, these two clubs must prove to majority of South Africans as to why a bulk of the starting 11 of Bafana comes from them. When you look at Hugo Broos's first 11, majority of the players will come from these two clubs. So it's national team players that will be playing against each other come Saturday, the 1st of November, probably under a scorching sun of Pretoria. Now, there are a number of things we need to look at. We need to look at what is Miguel Cardoso and Coach Wadu playing for, the starting 11s, and you need to look at the strong points, players to look for, where the game will be won or lost for either of these two clubs. Now, obviously, there's that disappointment of Orlando Pirates having been kicked out of CAF Champions League, but I've just made a video earlier on as to there's a possibility of Orlando Pirates coming back to CAF Champions League. But you can just check that video as you look at all of my videos I've uploaded on my channel. And obviously there's a disappointment of CAF Champions League exit. And then on the side of MAMELODI Sundowns, they were booted out of the MTN 8 by the same Orlando Pirates, booted out early by a Marumo Gallants and Carling Cup. So all MAMELODI Sundowns is playing for this season is CAF Champions League, which is a hard nut to crack. MAMELODI Sundowns has been knocking at that door for the past 9 years, having failed at the last hurdle last season, being beaten by Pyramids FC. And then you have it's a league, it's the CAF Champions League, and the last cup will be the Nedbank Cup. At least with Orlando Pirates, they already have something in the cabinet, winning that MTN 8, and they are already in the semi-finals of the Beer Cup, the Carling Cup Black Label knockout competition. Now, we need to look at the approach of both teams. What do I think will be the approach of Coach Wadu and Miguel Cardoso? Miguel Cardoso is under heavy pressure from the supporters. Majority of Mamelodi Sundowns supporters are not convinced as yet. Seems like he's got this a pragmatic approach to games, especially when he's playing a bigger team or a team with similar quality with the Mamelodi Sundowns. He's more defensive minded. He'll score one goal and try and defend that goal for the rest of the match. Obviously, if he plays an inferior team, he will wallop them. But if he plays even a smaller team that it does not have fear to go at Mamelodi Sundowns, press them at the top, that's where you actually see how fragile this Miguel Cardoso can be at times. So one wonders what the approach will be like tomorrow. Now, the big news coming to this fixture is that of Teboho Mokoena. Teboho Mokoena suspended, got a yellow card right at the end of that Carling Cup game against Marumo Gallants, where Reisinho, who also was red carded in the same game. And on the side of Orlando Pirates, there's a Rele Mufokeng who has missed a number of games. But when Orlando Pirates is playing, it does not look like these guys are missing a Mufokeng. Is Rele Mufokeng a quality player? Definitely. But are they missing him? There is no signs that they are missing him. But on the side of a Miguel Cardoso, he will definitely miss a Teboho Mokoena. Teboho Mokoena has been by far a best consistent midfielder the past 4 or 5 years in South Africa. So you can just imagine what Miguel Cardoso had to do as to whom will have to replace a Teboho Mokoena or play in a similar fashion like a Teboho Mokoena against this crazy pacey Orlando Pirates team and a midfielder that's really solid. So I believe that Mamelodi Sundowns or Miguel Cardoso as a home team and a team that should stretch its advantage at the top should go to Pirates. Take the game to Orlando Pirates. You are the home team. You are the team that is supposed to get maximum points in this game. Now, you can't play counter-attack football. If you do that, it's going to be a problem to allow the big share of possession to be with Orlando Pirates. If you allow them to play more on your half, it's going to be a problem because majority of the times Mamelodi Sundowns plays with a high line. Now, playing at a high line against the pace of, you've got a Hoto that comes from the fullback position. You've got a Sibelebele. You've got a Muremi. You've got an Apolis. I mean, these guys have got pace to burn for days. For days. So, Coach Wadu is fortunate on his side as to how he'll approach this game. He's fortunate to have these pacey players and fortunate to have a striker that does not leave the center back of the position at rest. Mahopa is going to press, even if he doesn't get a goal. But if Mamelodi Sundowns starts with a Cupido and a Kekana, because I think Koza is probably still recovering from injury. So that means that those two, they will be pressed until the game ends when an evidence Mahopa is there. Now, what are some of the dangerous players that we need to look at, and what do they offer for their club? Oswin Apolis must be the signing of the season this far. He's been incredible for Orlando Pirates. If he does not score, he will give you assist. And he as a direct assist or even secondary assist, the guy has just been excellent. Brilliant at club level, excellent at Bafana level. He has got a creative spark. He sees passes that no other forward player sees, especially in top flight football in South Africa. He's really a special player. So Oswin Apolis is going to be a player to look out for. He plays in that left channel and he likes cutting in. So that means that it's going to be another match between an Apolis and a Khuliso Mudau, who's by far the best right back in the Betway Premiership. Some will argue and say in inter-club football in Africa. Now, it's going to be a great matchup between him and an Ozwin Apollos. Now, on the side of Mamelodi Sundowns, a player that we are dying to see as to what he's going to produce in this big match. Because if you look at a guy like Teboho Mokoena, he's got a big match temperament. Now, he's not available. What does Nuno Santos have to offer for Mamelodi Sundowns in a big game? Because you can outshine Remo Stars from Nigeria, outshine inferior teams, but then what will you offer when you get an Orlando Pirates? So Nuno Santos, you can tell he was well developed. He's got a pass in him. He's really relaxed. So the battle is going to be that midfield, which I'm assuming now, because of the absence of Teboho Mokoena, Miguel Cardoso will probably start with an Obas, an Allende, and a Nuno Santos playing as a number 10. So a lot is on the shoulders of a Nuno Santos. This is his first big game in South Africa, and I'm hoping that he will step up and show everyone, and show the supporters of Mamelodi Sundowns why he was brought here, and show the Betway Premiership followers as to why, as a Portuguese, he even decided to come here. What does he have to offer in a big game? Now, the pace of Orlando Pirates is their strength, by far, is their strength. Sibelebel I've mentioned. Muremi, his pace, got a pace. He can score. He can play on the left channel. He can play on the right channel. Sibelebele, he can play as a fullback, play as a right mid. He can play as a right forward. Pace to ban for days. I mean, for days, guys. So that's the advantage of Orlando Pirates. They've got their energetic. I mean, the midfielder. You've got a Masindi Namtachele. You've got a Libito on the right back. You've got a Hoto left back. You've got the young stars central pairing with those dangerous diagonal balls coming from a. That's how actually we considered that's the goal in the MTN 8 against Orlando Pirates. It was Mbegeze Mbogazi launching a diagonal pass to guess who? A pacey Sibelebele, who finished it, and it was 1-1. Could have won the game 1-0, but because no one was pressing Mbogazi, and we had a sleepist in the left back position. I think it was Lunga, if I'm not mistaken. So those are some of the things we need to look at. It's a young team, energetic team, pacey team of Orlando Pirates. Now, the strong point of Mamelodi Sundowns is that they inherently, they are a team that likes keeping the ball. They are a position team. But what we've seen under a Miguel Cardoso, which frustrates a big following of Mamelodi Sundowns, is that this guy tends to play direct football to our focal point, which can at times be a Reyners, Shalulile, and but position football and playing on the half of Orlando Pirates is something that could be to our advantage when we can manipulate those pockets. Someone who always finds himself in good position is a player like a Teshrik Matthews. I'm pretty sure that a Hugo Bruce will be watching this game tomorrow, and someone who can easily get into the Bafana setup is a Teshrik Matthews. He just has to polish his finishing, but he will always find an opportunity. He'll always find a pass, and you can just tell he played in Europe and had a good number of those years in the development of Germany. So where will this game be lost for Mamelodi Sundowns? Obviously, if they keep position, especially on the half of Orlando Pirates, losing that ball is going to be a problem because we're on a high line. That means that we can't, the only person who's got the pace to match all those forwards of Orlando Pirates is a Kuliso Mudau. So that means that Orlando Pirates will be focusing, probably overloading this, our left-hand side, their right-hand side. That means that a Muremi, a Sibelebele will be occupying a Mudau a lot. Not a Mudau, Mudiba. Mudiba is not the fastest of left backs. So that means that tomorrow he will have to be assisted a lot by a Tashreeq Matthews. That's how Mamelodi Sundowns can actually lose this game. If we play a position football and we are on their half, once we lose those balls, it's going to be a problem if there's no one pressing and there is no one who's got the pace to match Muremi, Apollos, Belebele, whoever will be playing in the forward positions. Now, where will this game be lost for Orlando Pirates? We've noticed and we've seen that Orlando Pirates, they are weak when it comes to defending set pieces. I hope that this week was a week where Cardoso really maximized rehearsing and practicing, looking at loopholes and how to penalize, because they don't have the tallest of center back pairing in Bogazi and Siema. Nda is injured. Tabiso Sesani is injured. Oki doesn't even smell the bench. So Mamelodi Sundowns could actually win this game in similar fashion how we did the 4-1 last season. We scored, I think, the first goal via a set piece, and we could do the same. We don't take our corners, free kicks around the box for granted. Those could be used to advantage because Orlando Pirates have not done well defending these set pieces. Last but not least, my starting 11. I think it's going to be same starting 11 in that we started with in that last game. That is the midfield three of obvious, with the exception of Teboho Mokoena. So Teboho Mokoena will be replaced by an Obas. We've got an Allende and we've got a Santos midfield three. Back four, Mudau, Mudiba, Kekana, and a Chupido Williams. And our front three will be Shalulile, who's replacing an injured Reyners. And then we've got Tashreeq Matthews on the left with a Arthur Sales on the right. But I would not mind. But I saw Litlak in a moon boot, so that means that he's definitely not playing. So it would definitely be an Arthur Sales. Well, Orlando Pirates, Sipochen in number 1, Libito, Siema, Mbogazi, Hoto will be back. Another midfield 3 in the middle for Coach Wadu. You've got a Sithandule who will be sitting, assisting his centre backs. And we've got an 8 of, I would personally start with Mbata. This is a Mbata game, and probably start a Namtachela next to him. Sipombule, for me, he's not the fittest. He will bring the impact from the bench come second half, because he has not started the last 2 games for Orlando Pirates. And the front 3 of Orlando Pirates will be focal point will be Evidence Mahopa. Right hand side, we have a Muremi left hand side, and Ozuna Pollins. It's going to be an incredible game. I'm just hoping for goals. And I hope Mamelodi Sundowns wins. But it's not going to be an easy one. It's definitely not going to be an easy one. If you sing this space and this content for the very first time, love it if you join this family. You do support the channel by just liking. Subscribing to the channel is also free. Commenting is also a way of supporting the channel. Now, if you see that heart with a $sign, that means I've got an opportunity to give something to this channel, so you help us grow. And obviously, nowadays, leave the bank details if you want to support the channel even more, so that we grow the channel in many ways, improve the audio and everything. Guys, thank you for staying this long, and I would really appreciate if you do say something on the comments below about the subject matter. Now, let me leave it there by declaring, may my God bless you all.